Hello everyone, my name is ZCRGator and welcome back to Tier List Tuesday. Today's tier list is all about regional bird Pokemon. I woke up this morning and I heard the birds chirping, probably because it's very windy outside and they've been flying around my little apartment room. But with that being said, I was like, you know what? I think today would be a good day to rank bird Pokemon. So that's what we're going to do today. So with that being said, if you end up enjoying today's video, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 200 subscribers, and comment down below who is your favorite regional bird Pokemon and why. For me personally, well, I guess I will tell you what my favorite one is later on in the list, but I really like the regional bird Pokemon. Growing up, I used to use like a lot of them on my teams all the time just because you need somebody to fly around, but because of that, I ended up really enjoying these type of Pokemon. So that being said, they're probably going to be ranked decently high on my list. You're probably not going to see too many in the C or the D tier. But with that being said, let's just get right into it, and we are kicking things off with the OG, the original Pidgey, and Pidgey's going straight into my B tier. I think Pidgey's a really cool Pokemon. I like Pidgey. I remember, I think in the anime, there's an episode where there's this Pidgey that's trying to break the limits, break the boundaries of what Pidgey can do. I think he had this insane goal of, I don't think it was, maybe it was flying over the moon, but it was just flying as high as possible. And the little man, I think he accomplished his dreams. He didn't fly to a moon or nothing, but he was still breaking boundaries, and it was pretty cool to see. I like Pidgey. Pidgey's cool. Pidgey's just pretty cool. Up next, we have Pidgeotto, and this is my favorite of the three. I like Pidgeotto. I think Pidgeotto is a great middle evolution Pokemon. Plus, I always remember having a lot of fun using Pidgeotto in Fire Red and Leaf Green, so I'm putting it in the A tier. And then up next is Pidgeot, who I will be putting in the B tier. And the biggest reason why is because anytime I've ever used Pidgeotto, or Pidgeot, it's always been in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And the moveset for Pidgeot was always the worst, because you get Pidgeot at level 36, and when it evolves, it only learns 2 moves after it evolves. Agility and Mirror Move. What am I going to do with those? I mean, it's cool that I could teach it the TM, or I guess the HM Fly, but that's his best move. Of course, in the later generations, it does actually get much better moveset, which I am a lot happier about. The fact that it can use a Hurricane, the fact that it can use Air Slash, and I guess I'm looking at its moveset now, and I guess it doesn't learn too many more moves than I thought it would. Either way, it does get a Mega Evolution, and that is cooler. Not to mention, you can teach it Heat Wave and Sky Attack through a move tutor in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. So it does get a lot cooler in the later gens, and it does Mega Evolve, which it has a pretty solid Mega. But with that being said, I never really got to use one in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. I always used it in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and in Fire Red and Leaf Green, I always felt like I wanted more out of it, and I never really quite got more out of it. So that's why I'm putting it in the B tier. Up next is Spearow. I want to put it in the C tier, but I think I'm going to put it in the B tier, and the only reason why is just because of the iconic shot in the anime where all the Spearows are attacking Ash, and then Pikachu hits the Thunder Shock, and it's like, oh my god, we trust each other, and then Ho-Oh flies over. Just because of that, I'm putting it in the B tier. Fearow, though, gets put in the C tier. Sorry, Fearow. I tried using one, I think in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and I just wasn't vibing with the Fearow. I think it was the gift Spearow that you get, the Kenya Pokemon, and I evolved that up into a Fearow, and it just, I don't know. I was vibing with it for a little bit until we just got too late into the game, and then it just was not carrying its weight. And I have Pokemon that struggle to carry its weight a lot of times, but I still love them and I will still use them regardless. Fearow, unfortunately, is not that Pokemon for me, so I will be putting it in the C tier. I feel a little bad, but I like Fearow. Fearow's cool. Well, I guess if I'm saying that, I would be putting it higher than C tier. Fearow is just kind of mid, so we'll keep Fearow in the C tier. Up next, we got Hoot of the Johto region. Again, another B tier Pokemon. I might move Spearow down to C tier. We'll see. But I do like Hoot Hoot more. I like Hoot Hoot the most, actually, out of all these guys. I don't know why. There's just something about the design, the little circle dude. He's just a guy, man. I like owls too. Owls are really cool. So Hoot Hoot gets to be right up in the B tier. Same with Noctowl. Although I'm gonna put Noctowl right behind Pidgeot. Noctowl's cool. It's just, it's not as strong as it could be. And Hoot Hoot's just funny to me. That's why I like Hoot Hoot more. I might put Hoot Hoot in A tier. We'll see. But Noctowl's cool. I don't mind Noctowl. I do wish it was a little bit better. The anime makes it cool because Ash has a shiny one, and shiny Noctowl is pretty cool. But either way, Noctowl, pretty solid. Up next is an absolute goat. Well, we'll put Swallow in GOAT tier right now, but Taylor will go right in my A tier. This is probably my favorite of the regional birds. We'll see. My favorite changes between, it's a rotation between 3 of them. So, but Swallow was that was probably my second favorite one growing up, and then at some point it became my favorite. And I think it's still my favorite, but also it might not be. It's weird. They're really close to each other. We'll talk about it later. Either way, I love Tailo. I think Tailo is such a great starting bird Pokemon to have on your squad, and it helped big time with Brawley's gym because that Makuita was always throwing hands, and I was always struggling without a Tailo on my team. Love Tailo, love Swellow, I really like the color design, which I am just now realizing is kind of a we got the red, white, and blue going on. I did not realize that Tailo was American like that. It's proudly representing the US of A, even though the region it's based off of is not the USA. But I like Swellow. I really like Swellow. I like Tailo. Swellow's super cool. I love Swellow. There's one of my favorite playthroughs that I could always remember having was I had a playthrough of Pokemon Emerald where all I used was a Blaziken and a Swellow, and for some reason I always remember that one specifically, and I had a blast. I absolutely enjoyed using it. There's something about Swellow that I just love Swellow so much. Plus it's got guts. I think that's really cool. And then in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I used the Dex Nav for the first time ever. Like when I didn't even realize those games were out until 5 months after they came out, by the way. And of course I had to get a Swellow on my team. And I used the Dex Nav to catch my Tailo, and the Tailo came with Boom Burst, and it was so cool. I really like Swellow. Swellow's so cool. Up next, we got Wingull and Pelipper. Growing up, I was the headmaster of the Wingull / Pelipper hate club. I was a big hater. I disliked these guys so much. And then I grew up and I realized, hey, why do I hate this man? What has a Wingull ever done to me to make it hate it? And in fact, I love Wingull. Wingull's just a dude, man. Look at him. He's just a guy. I like Wingull. Wingull's honestly, it's an adorable Pokemon. Tailo and Wingull, if I could have like 2 bird Pokemons as pets, those would be the 2. Because they're just so adorable. They got Pico, Mr. Briney's Pico. I mean, come on. And then Pelipper was something that growing up, I thought I had one of the worst designs. I was like, oh, this thing is whack. Who could ever love this thing? And then you grow up and you realize, you know what? It's really not that bad, honestly. I actually like it now. Plus, it has Drizzle. It got Drizzle in Generation 7. That's kind of sick. That is kind of sick. I'm going to put Pelipper right up in the B tier. I'm going to move Spearow down to C tier for now because it's getting a little crowded in that B tier currently. But I'm a Pelipper enjoyer now. I have since grown up. I have gained taste. And, I was wrong to hate on Pelipper as a child. I thought it was dumb looking. I thought I had a dumb bill. I thought the cut of its jib was just not there. And I feel bad for feeling that way because it's such a cool Pokemon. Like, sure, it could be a little stronger, but Drizzle, I will say, that Drizzle effect is super nice. Either way, it's a Pelipper. Like, come on. It's a little derpy looking dude, but I like him. Up next, we have the first ever bird Pokemon. The first ever Pokemon that I caught with a Pokeball. That's a lie. Bidoof is the first one I've ever caught with a Pokeball. The second Pokemon I've ever caught with a Pokeball. And that is Starly. Starly's going up in my A tier. Staravia is also going to go up in my A tier. And then Staraptor is going up in the S tier. But let's start with Starly first. I really like Starly. Starly's just a little guy, you know? And it's, honestly, it learns Wing Attack, I think, at level 10 in Pokemon Platinum, which is so sick. I wonder if it actually is that way in Diamond as well. I would guess it's that way in Diamond. I'm going to look up its moveset super quickly. So, there's an item called Starly Feather. I have no idea what that is, but I'll learn that at a different date. Either way, let's look at Starly's Generation 4 moveset. Yeah, we learn Wing Attack at level 9. I mean, that's kind of broken. I'm just saying, Pidgeot learns Wing Attack at level 27, which I don't know how you could get a level 27 Pidgeot. When does Pidgeotto learn that? Pidgeotto. When does Pidgeotto learn Wing Attack? Alright, I'm going to look at the Generation 3 one, because I always played Fire Red, Leaf Green. It learns Wing Attack at level 27. Pidgeotto learns Wing Attack at level 27. Starly, well, maybe it learns it at a different level in 4th gen. So let's look at the Heart Gold Soul Silver real quick. Wing Attack is learned at... What? In Heart Gold Soul Silver, Pidgeotto learns Wing Attack at 37. Why? 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 I never used a Pidgeotto or a Pidgeot in Heart Gold Soul Silver because I always used it in Fire Red, Leaf Green. But you're telling me that they saw it at level 27 and said, nah, actually, we need to make it even harder and have it learn at 37? That's awful. It's awful. This is why Staravia, Staraptor is so much cooler. This thing learns Wing Attack at level 9. Absolute unit of a Pokemon. I love me some Starly. Staravia is super sick, cool. Which, by the way, I believe Starly evolves at level 14, which is kind of nice. I'm just saying, it's pretty nice. And then Staravia, you get a Staravia at level 14, and sure, it takes 22 levels to evolve to Staraptor at 36. But at level 14, you already have a Pokemon that has a base stat total of like 75 in attack and 80 in speed, which is pretty sick. I'm just saying, plus second gym leader is Gardenia, a grass type. You are absolutely tearing through the grass type gym leader. If you play Diamond and Pearl, third gym leader is, I think, Maylene, the fighting type, which, you know, you're already super effective against fighting types. And even if you're playing Platinum, in which you have Fantina as third gym leader, it's a normal type. So ghost types can't really hit a Staravia like that. It's super nice to have in its own generation. And then, of course, Staravia evolves into Staraptor, which growing up was my favorite of the regional bird Pokemon. I think I like Swellow a tad bit more nowadays. But even with that being said, it's just a tad, like a tiny bit, because Staraptor is unbelievably cool. I really like Staraptor. It has 120 base attack stat total. Its speed is at 100. This thing just hits like an absolute unit. It's a little bit of a glass cannon, but you're firing off Brave Birds. You're firing off close combats. It's so nice, dude. You could deal with Empoleons with one little close combat. And sure, you might not knock out the Empoleon, but you're doing a lot of damage to said Empoleon. Does a lot of damage. Maybe you're not outspeeding an Infernape, but if you hit an Infernape with a Brave Bird, bye-bye. You could hit a Brave Bird on a Torterra. You're probably not defeating it, but you're going to do a lot of damage to it. It is such a nice Pokemon. It is so much fun to use. I always enjoy using Staraptors in any playthrough of Platinum, which has been a while since I've used a Staraptor, which is probably why I like Swellow a little bit more, because I've used Swellow a lot more recently, but Staraptor, really sick. Up next, we are traveling over to the Unova region, and this is a Pokemon that I originally wasn't the biggest fan of, but I've grown to like it a little bit more, and that is Pidove. I'm going to put Pidove currently And my B tier, I don't know what it is. He's just he's a little pigeon, but he's kind of an adorable little fella. And same with Tranquil. I actually really like Tranquil. I think Tranquil's design is pretty sick. I will say I don't have a lot to say about these guys because I haven't really used them like that. Like I've tried using them, and I have done a playthrough with Tranquil and P-Dub and Unfaisant, and I will say I was not the biggest Unfaisant fan. Both Unfaisants are gonna go in the C tier. I might move them down. We'll see. But I wasn't the biggest fan of the design, nor did I think they were the most fun to use, which is kind of crazy because Unfaisant has a really good attack stat. Plus, you could get it, I think, at level 32, which is kind of nice. It's a nice level to get it at. It's not 36 like Staraptor. It's just when you fully evolve it, it learns Air Slash and like Razor Wind, and then the next time it learns a physical attacking move is at level 55, which is Facade. Which by then you should already be fighting in Team Plasma at the end game, and you're probably not going to learn that move. So it's just, I don't know. And then it learns Sky Attack, which I guess is cool, but that's post game. It's just like, I don't know. I never really enjoyed using it all that much in my playthroughs. It just, and plus the design just couldn't carry it for me. Like Tranquil for me, I really liked Tranquil because I really liked its design a lot. I thought it was a really cool design. Plus you get Tranquil, oh my god, you get Tranquil at level 21. Good lord, I forgot it was that late. Yikes. Oh, it's not even as good as Staravia. Dang. Did I get a Staravia at level 14 and its stats are like, I guess the stats aren't better, but like it's almost the same. And not to mention, well, Staravia is faster. Dang, man. Tranquil. Dang, Tranquil. Like, your design's cool, but I completely forgot that fact. Oh, man. I'm just going to keep it in the A tier for now. Well, I'll put you at the top of the B tier, actually. That's crazy that you have to have a P-Dub until level 21. I forgot about that. Wow, it's been forever since I've actually used this thing. I always enjoyed using it, but dang, that's crazy. I'm sorry, Tranquil. Now that I completely forgot that I get you at level 21. In my head, I always thought it was like 16. Nope, that's insane. That is insane. Sorry, Mr. Tranquil. That bumps you down a little bit in my books. Either way, we got to move on. And we got to move on to little dude Fletchling, which in Generation 6, X and Y, it has been 7 years, by the way, since the last time I've played X and Y. I would love to play it again. I just don't have the means to do it. Either way, Fletchling is a Pokemon that I have never used in its own generation. I always feel bad, because I always tell myself this is going to be the playthrough where I've only ever had 2 playthroughs of X and Y, actually. I just never used it in either playthrough. I have, however, used a Fletchling in Scarlet and Violet, and I think I used one in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It's cool. I mean, it's alright. It's like a B tier guy. He's just a little dude, man. I'm going to put him right behind Noctowl. I believe the evolution is Fletchinder, which I do remember Fletchling was like a little fast. He's pretty a little fast dude. But you get Fletchinder, I think, at level 17, so he's got to be a little quirky that way. Instead of 16, he's 17. He's cool. But Fletchinder, I remember being all right. Like it's just a B tier for me. I think I put it right behind Noctowl. Funny enough, I'm gonna move P-Dub down. I think I'm gonna move P-Dub right to it feels right. And then Talonflame is a sick Pokemon. This thing is really cool. I like Talonflame. It's super cool design. I think it had to get nerfed in Generation 6, which I never really dealt with that part of it. But I always thought it was cool. I mean, Firefly, cool typing. It's super fast. I do wish it hit a little harder. It's still a cool Pokemon. It learns Flare Blitz. I mean, it does learn Brave Bird at like a really late level, I feel like. Okay, so it learns Brave Bird in Generation 6 at level 64, which is a lot nicer than what it is in Scarlet and Violet, because in Scarlet and Violet it learns it at 83, which I think is just too I would have preferred if it stayed at 64. So either way, cool Pokemon. I really like the design of Talonflame. It is super sick. Up next, if I do remember this Pokemon correctly, I feel wrong because I feel like I shouldn't rank these guys at all, but I will anyways. Pecky-Peck, Trumbeak, and Toucanon. I have never used either one. So I will only be ranking solely based off of design, and to be honest, I really like Pecky-Peck. Look at this little dude. He's such a little fun guy. I wish I used one. He's so adorable. Pecky-Peck is just a dude, man. Look at that. That's a Pokemon that I'd love to have. Like again, like the Taylor Wingull. Like if I had him as a pet, I love to have a Pecky-Peck as a pet. That thing is adorable. Trumbeak. That thing annoyed me. It's cool. I actually like the design, but oh no, apologies. I accidentally took out my microphone there. But I do like the design of Trumbeak. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty cool. The only thing though about it is that there's a totem fight against Totem Lurantis, where I believe Lurantis brings down a Trumbeak, and that thing absolutely wrecked shop on me. So that's why I'm putting it down in C tier, because it annoyed me. Although it gets to go ahead of all these guys based solely off of design alone. And then there's Toucanon, which I feel like anytime I look at Toucanon, all I could think of is Toucan Sam, and I like Toucan Sam. So Toucanon gets to go up at the top of C tier. It's not like Fletchling or Fletchinder levels are cool, but like maybe if I used one, I'd like it a lot more. But I've never used it, so I feel wrong ranking it. I might just make a whole tier list, separate tier of just haven't used, and that would be the only regional bird that I've never used. But I've never used them. So up next, we got Rookidee. Trying to remember its name because I remember Corviknight really well. I don't remember. I think it's Rookidee. I want to make sure it is Rookidee. Okay, I feel better knowing that. We got Rookidee. We have Corvisquire. Okay, that's its name. And then Corviknight, obviously. I love Corviknight, by the way. Corviknight gets to go all the way up in my S tier. That thing is an absolute truck. I love a steel flying type. It was so much fun to use. And the reason why I like it so much, I liked it. Let me rephrase this. I really enjoyed Corviknight a lot, and I think because I enjoyed it so much, it was the only thing I remembered using in Sword and Shield. I do remember little Rookidee. Rookidee was fine. wasn't the great. It wasn't like my favorite to use, but it was okay. And the Corvisquire I think is super cool. I just don't remember too much of Corvisquire just because I remember so much of Corviknight, but I really like its design a lot. Do I want to move things around? Because I do see. Nah, well, I'm gonna move Staravia actually all the way up here next to Taylor. But yeah, because I do like Staravia more than Pidgeotto. I like Weepole more than Pidgeotto. No offense, Pidgeotto, but I like that. Corvisquire is super cool though. I would prefer Corvisquire over Wingull. Corvisquire, I like the design. Again, I don't remember too much of using it because I just remember so much of Corviknight instead. But Corviknight is super cool, man. I was a big fan of Corviknight. You do get it, I think, at level 38. But that's okay. I didn't mind that because of how cool it is. Not to mention when you find that one in the wild area in Sword and Shield, I thought it looked so cool. Just how big it is. It's just menacing. Absolutely menacing creature. It's a little on the slow part, but that's what you expect. It's a steel type. Plus steel types are my favorite typing. It's cool. I think it's really cool. Also the fact that in Scarlet and Violet, it has what is the Pokemon called with a big hammer? Tinkaton, I think. It's got beef with Tinkaton, which I thought was a hilarious rivalry, personally. So either way, Corviknight, super cool. It learns Brave Bird at like level 50, which is pretty solid. I had having Brave Bird going into the championship fight and the Elite Four fight and the whole tournament little arc thing that they did at the end of Sword and Shield was pretty nice. Plus, you could hit really strong Steel Wings with this thing too. So, big fan of Corviknight. Love its design. It is incredible. And so, last but not least, I do I do apologize because I think the big bird in the Paldea region is Kilowattrel, and I'm going to guess that this thing is called Wattrel. So I will look it up. It is in fact called Wattrel. I feel like this is something that I should have liked a lot more, and I will say, I know this list doesn't have Squawkabilly on it. I don't know if Squawkabilly counts as a regional bird. Same with Chatot. I'm just going to assume it doesn't. I just pulled up this. This is like the first tier list I clicked on when it said regional bird tier list. So, Wattrel, I have used these, surprisingly. Even though I used it on my B team, I had like different teams in Scarlet and Violet just because I didn't want to overlevel my A team. So this was on the B team. I used this thing, and I almost feel like I don't remember the fact that I used it though, which I feel bad. It evolves at level 25, which is pretty sick. I do remember it evolving super early, and the fact that it's electric type seems super cool in my mind. It's just I don't remember anything about when I had. I think I honestly, I don't even know if I really sent this thing into battle much. I think I just, with how the experience works in Scarlet and Violet, when you have one Pokemon battle, they all get experience. So I think it evolved because of that. But I do remember using Kilowattrel, and I thought this thing was kind of cool. I thought it was pretty sick. It's super fast, and its special attack is pretty solid. I remember firing off some pretty strong Volt switches, even though you learn that a little bit later. Plus, Electro Ball is such a nice move on this thing. So, Kilowattrel, I'm going to put... Do I want to put it that high? Because it is kind of a sick Pokemon. I feel bad for Kilowattrel, but I would prefer a Knockdown, honestly. I think I prefer Knockdown. Maybe I should actually, because again, it was on my B team, so I wasn't like super serious about using it. Maybe I should actually do a playthrough of Scarlet and Violet where I really try to use Kilowattrel. Wattrel for me is also, I think it's gonna go right behind Fletchling. No, I'm gonna put you right behind Trumbeak. Yeah, that feels right. It does. It's a little tiny guy. Again, I need to use it a little bit more seriously because maybe I'd like it more. I like the design. It's pretty adorable little dude, but like I don't know. There's just something about it. Like the vibes just feel off. Not D tier vibes, but it just feels a little off. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels a little off. Either way, that's the end of the regional bird tier list. I think it looks nice. Honestly, I don't really hate it. If I had to put one in the D tier, it would probably be Unfazant with Firo falling down there too. But even then, I don't think I dislike Unfazant to that level though. Like, yeah, it could definitely be better, but like, I don't know. It wasn't super bad for me, if you know what I mean. So, either way, I like how the list looks. I think I'd keep Swellow as my number one. For a little bit there, Corviknight was the number one. So, Corviknight was absolutely sick. It was my favorite bird for a little bit. I'm back on the Swellow train. I love Swellow. It's just such an awesome Pokemon. Probably nostalgia that is blinding my lenses. They're blinding my view. But either way, I love Swellow. Staraptor is so much fun to use. I think that's the one that I've had the most fun using in a playthrough. At least consistently. So... either way, I like how the list looks. With that being said, if you end up enjoying today's video, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who was your favorite regional bird and why. And with that being said, I hope you have an absolutely phenomenal day, a phenomenal rest of your week, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.